Hey, hello, hello, hello. Let's talk annual planning today, okay? Working on your new year, to be clear, your new year 12-month plan of action. That's what we are going to talk about today. Hey, boss. Hey, it's your girl, LaShonda Henry here, aka SistaSense. Always excited to share things you can do when it comes to working on your money, your marketing, and your sales goals too with strategy and intention. So I am super excited to share this with you. Yesterday, I hosted a really fun annual planning workshop as part of my Wealth Builders Bundle. We had a great time. It was so good. I knew what I had to do was jump on here and share some of those strategies with you. Hey, good morning. Good morning. So listen, I'm actually going to take you inside of the annual planning workshop guide. You can download it for free, number one, and then also you can grab number two, the replays that I'm going to do today if you need it. Okay. And that's at sistasense.com/APMC, which stands for Annual Planning Masterclass. SistaSense, that's me, SistaSense.com/AP for Annual Planning MC Masterclass. Okay. So now that I shared a few of those things with you today, what I want to do is jump into the actual annual planning guide. There are actually 11. There are 11 steps inside of this playbook that I've put together as far as things you can do to think about how you can intentionally kickstart your business when you go into the new year. Okay. So, what I want to do is to take some time to share four of those 11 strategies with you. If you're watching me on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, you can see the annual planning workbook guide on my screen. If you're on Instagram, you can hear me and I will explain it to you that way. But of course, you can always jump over on Facebook or YouTube at SistaSense so you can see the screen too, right? And remember to go over to sistasense.com/AP MC to grab your annual planning guide. Okay. APMC, which stands for Annual Planning Masterclass. That's what we're doing today. Okay. Let me get my eyes on and start to walk you through this annual plan. Now, to get started, my goal is to talk about how you can crush your annual goals with vision, strategy, and intention. But before we even get into the agenda for today, I want to know, out of curiosity, whether you're watching live or via the replay, do you already have some things that you know you intentionally want to do to grow your business into the new year? I always say that, to be honest with you, before I even start to share some stuff with you, there's probably already things that you know you need to do, right? So, what are those things? And feel free to share them with me in the chat as I get my eyes on. What are some of those things that you already know you want to do to grow when it comes to your annual planning goals? I love this guide, by the way, because you can print it out and you can go into it and just kind of utilize it when you need to kind of reconnect to your annual goals. So let's dig into the agenda. I want you to be able to review what you've done and what you've learned in the current year. I want you to be able to identify projects that you want to either start or carry over into the new year. I think that it's so important to know that you can actually start planning, prepping, and putting your stuff out there this year. Okay. You don't have to wait till next year, right? You can start to plan, prep, and put out new year projects this year and set yourself up for progress and success every year. These are the things that I want you to be able to know and understand and work through as we go through this annual planning experience together. Of course, a part of that process is making note of, again, any goals that you already know you want to accomplish, and also questions that you know you need to get answered. And of course, you can always feel free to actually drop into the comment box for me some of your goals and or questions, and I'll do my best to reply to what I can here. And of course, I also maybe jump on here in another session and share some of my responses to any questions that you guys leave me live or via the replays on the replays side. Of course, remember when you are catching me on the replay side to drop into the comment box, hashtag replays rock. So the 11 strategies, right? We're going to go through 4 today. The first one, okay, is reflection. I always believe that you have to stop before you start. STOP is one of my favorite acronyms. STOP, stop, think, observe, proceed. So before you jump into all these plans of things you want to do next year, let's stop a second and reflect on this year. What went right and worked versus what went wrong and didn't work, right? Because you definitely don't want to repeat bad habits. You want to break them. Going into new, you want to break through. So we have to identify those things that were either a struggle for you, that were challenging for you, that just didn't quite work for you. What went wrong? What went right, right? What held you back this year versus what helped you move forward? What changed, what didn't change, and what needs to change, right? Think about that. I mean, so many things happen in a year. What are some things that changed, good or bad, didn't quite change as much as you thought, or they definitely need to change moving into the next year? The next question to ask yourself when it comes to your annual planning is to think about what bad habits do you either want to chuck, or on the flip side, what good habits do you want to keep? Hey, welcome, welcome. Let me know who you are and where you are in this beautiful world today. Of course, feel free to tap, 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 tag, and like some friends, hearts, thumbs up, love, all the support is appreciated. So that's a good question, right? What bad habits do you want to chuck versus good habits do you want to keep that you said, okay, I really saw some results here? What mistakes do you need to fix or avoid for next year? So these are really important questions when we talk about the significance of annual planning and intentionally preparing for what you want to see and how you want your business to grow in the new year, right? Before you jump right in there, jump in head first, you have to take some time to stop, think, and observe, proceed, right? Number 1 is the first of 11 strategies I share inside the annual planning workshop, which is reflection. By the way, this guide that I have for you, it's a free printable guide over at SistaSense.com/APMC. That's the annual planning masterclass. Go there so you can download the guide that I am talking you through, walking you through today. Okay. Number 1, we have time just to go through a few of these pivotal steps. If you want the complete guide as well as the full annual planning workshop that I did yesterday, you can get instant access to the replays. When you go to that masterclass page, there's a link for you to get full access to the complete annual planning webinar workshop. If you missed it, you can sign up and get it right now, either just that or the full Wealth Builders bundle. It was actually a part of that Wealth Builders bootcamp experience that I'm doing right now. A little bit later today, we're actually going to spend the next 2 days inside of the Wealth Builders bootcamp working on 7 ways to create 7-day challenges. So whether you want to create challenges, your own custom planners, or work on your annual planning, these are a few of the trainings that I have for you inside of the Wealth Builders Bootcamp. So number 1, you have the link inside of your annual planning masterclass, either to sign up for the full bootcamp or to simply get access to the annual planning webinar workshop replays and guide. And again, download your printable guide that I'm walking you through today over at SistaSense.com/APMC. Okay. APMC stands for Annual planning masterclass. That's what I'm walking you through. The first thing you got to do if you want to intentionally, strategically prepare for what you want to do and see next year, you have to work on reflection. Reflection. So let's talk about that. How are you reflecting on, good and or bad, some things that you noticed about this year that you want to change next year? When I did this webinar workshop last night, one of my participants, she said, you know what, I realized next year it's just straight group coaching for me. Okay, no one-on-one sessions. And I said, oh my goodness, I know that feeling when your passion becomes a pain and you're like, no, 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 right? Do you feel the same way? Are you in a space where maybe you're a service professional and you don't want to do services anymore? You want to create digital products. Maybe you do one-on-ones and you want to do group coaching too, right? What's something about what happened or what you did this year that maybe you want to modify or completely remove? I mentioned to her that I'll mention to you now. Yes, there are instances where you may want to completely downsize or eliminate certain offers from your business. Or maybe there's times when you just need to kind of sit down and figure out how you can make that offer experience better for you and your customers too. Right. So she and I are going to sit down and talk one-on-one about some things you can do to potentially make the experience better for her, because I do know what happens when your passion becomes a pain. You're like, I don't want to do that. No more, no more, eliminate. But in order to move into the next year, you have to intentionally start here and reflect on what was working, what didn't work, right? Another participant talked about really something that she did and worked really well for her this year, and that was intentionally writing down her social media language, the things that she wanted to say, the things that she wanted to share. And so having that in a document, she was able to go and copy and paste those parts when she needed it and wanted to use it in different platforms. And to that, I thought, wow, that's a great thing to do. It's actually something that I do similarly when it comes to social media. I have a notepad document that has my hashtags, and so I can just simply copy and paste them over when I need them, and it's convenient for me. So one of the fun things about the conversation we had yesterday was not only did I share recommendations on reflecting and then some things that I learned that I did that worked well for me this year. I shared quite a few of those things, but also in that conversation, attendees were talking about things that worked for them too, possibly that you could do to improve your new year processes and routines. Okay, so what worked, what didn't work, feel free to check in with me and let me know, right? What changed, what didn't change, what needs to change. You have your love it or lose it list, right? What did you love about this year? What could you stand to lose? Okay, so let's keep on keeping on today. As I said, we're going to work on me taking you inside of the 11 parts that I shared as part of the annual planning webinar workshop I did yesterday. Again, the full access to those replays are currently available. This document that I'm going in right now, you can see it on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching me on Instagram, I'm going to talk you through it, but you can download it over at SistaSense.com/APMC for Annual Planning Masterclass. Okay, so number 3 is visualization. And no, I didn't skip number 2 by accident. I'm giving you a few of the 11 strategies I teach in the full annual planning workshop. The first one we talked about, number 1, was reflection. We're just going to jump into number 3, visualization, right? Start with the end of year vision in mind, right? That's important. Visualization works. So if you think about the end of next year, you start to prepare right here. What products do you want to produce? What projects do you want to work on? What people do you want to work with? What places do you want to go? What profit do you want to make? What progress do you want to have? These are pivotal questions. I remember one year I was in a space where I was just fangirl geeking over Issa Rae. This is pre HBO, Insecure, all the things, when she was at the height of her Awkward Black Girl YouTube series. Just absolutely loved her vision. Wanted to meet her, put it on my this is going to happen vision board. And sure enough, I got to meet her, hang out, take pictures and talk and all the things in New York because I was intentional about it. And that's how I meet a lot of people. Lisa Price, the creator of Carol's Daughters. Listen, I just am like, we're gonna make this happen. Laser vision, right? So you want to be in a space where you actually will the things that you want, right? You become the change that you seek by visualizing what you want to see in the future. I need you guys to watch this amazing quick clip on YouTube with Jim Carrey, and he's talking to Oprah about how visualization works. And I won't go into it right now because time is of the essence, but it's just so amazing the things that he visualized before he was who he became. And he was, kind of like a broke up and coming actor dreaming of his success. Visualization works, and that inspiration, that video that he shared is definitely one worth watching. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's definitely one worth watching. One of the things that I can say to you is that one thing that I did last year was I committed to this year releasing several things that I wanted to do for years. I'm a web and graphics designer, and a lot of clients, I'll say, okay, I'm about to build your website. Okay, send me your passwords. And a lot of times folks don't know this password from this one. They ask me, do you have the password? I say, I don't have nothing. I don't know what you want. I don't have it. So I created number one, a password book, because a lot of people struggle with that. And number two, I launched several of my planners. And that was a birthday gift to me, right? In order to do things like that, you have to intentionally visualize where you want to be. I said my birthday gift to me is going to be launching these new printable planners as well as this password book, and I made it happen, right? I also said, okay, I had a challenge on my birthday. I don't know if you saw it over at sistasense.com/1K one day, right? I said, okay, I'm going to do 1K in one day. I'm going to make that happen. Launched the planners, did the challenge, and it was just a really fun experience. So I say that to say one of the things that you definitely can intentionally do is attract and actually manifest the things that you want to happen to you and in your business if you start with visualization as a part of your annual planning efforts. Okay. So think about that again. Remember, you can print this out when you go over to SistaSense.com. Me, SistaSense.com. I had to think about it. When you go to SistaSense.com/APMC, which stands for Annual Planning Masterclass that I'm taking you through right now, you can download this guide. Okay. And start the process of not waiting until next year, but starting here to think about the products, projects, people, places, profit, and progress that you want to see at the end of next year. So you are starting to visualize and walk/work towards that vision. Okay. Let's make it happen. So, as I mentioned to you before, as far as the full annual planning workshop is concerned, there are 11 strategies that I have in the full workshop to share with you. Today, we're going through a few of them. It was so fun to do the training last night. I said, you know what, let me jump on, do this live class so I can walk you through some of the recommendations. Number one, reflection. Number three, visualization. Number five, let's talk about fragmentation. Okay. And again, if you don't have access to the full training, either by itself or as part of the Wealth Builders Bootcamp, make sure you go over to SistaSense.com/APMC so you can download your free annual planning sneak peek guide, print it out, start to work through it, and they get information about how you can get access to the full workshop or the Wealth Builders Bootcamp on that page. Okay. I'm going to let you know before I go into number five, fragmentation, that today is the last day to register for the Wealth Builders Bootcamp. Okay. After I finish this particular masterclass with you guys, I'm actually doing a 2-day series on 7 ways to create 7-day challenges. It's a hands-on training as part of the Wealth Builders Bootcamp. This is a 2-day experience, one of several trainings I'm doing in the Wealth Builders Bootcamp. And so if you want to participate in the full trainings, get that, but that is going to end today. Okay. Any questions about any of those things, feel free to drop into the chat, number one. Number two, definitely, if you do have questions outside of dropping them into the chat, feel free to email sistasense@gmail.com. Good morning. Hi. Welcome. Welcome. Awesome to see you guys here. Definitely feel free to either check in with me via the chat or email sistasense@gmail.com. These little locks. These little locks. Just always trying to mess me up. So far, I'm going to jump back a little bit just to reset the room. If you're just coming on in here, right? The first thing I said, if you want to intentionally work on your annual plan, we got to start with reflection. Stop before you start. What things worked versus did not work for you this year. Feel free to share, by the way, any things that just are coming up for you. And go into just taking some time to sit down and get clear about your next best steps, right? And by the way, we can do this together. If you want to sit down and work with me, 30, 60, 90-minute sessions, feel free to always schedule calls at sistasense.com/call me. So reflection, is that something you need to do when it comes to your annual plan? If so, drop reflection into the chat box so that I can see whether you're watching live or the replay. Replayers, I see you virtually. Every time you comment, it pops up on my phone. So I can still see you. Drop hashtag reflection in the chat if that's something you need to work on, number one. Number two, when it comes to your annual planning, visualization. Do you need to take some time to visualize where you want to be, the person you want to see at the end of next year, so you can work towards that person? Work towards thinking about that person, what products they've created, projects they've completed, people they're working with, places they've gone. What does that girl or guy look like to you? And by the way, feel free to tag some business besties or share this out if you know there's some folks in your circles and they need to figure out how to get their annual planning all the way together. Okay, feel free to share this with them as well. So number one. Number three, let's jump into number 5, which for me is fragmentation. Start breaking things down, all the way down, like limbo style. Like, break it on down, all the way down. When I do that, it kind of brings in my inner Martin. Y'all remember the Martin show? And there used to be a character. If you know his name, tell me, because Martin had so many characters. And he would do this little shuffle dance. I think he had a beard too. It was just like a little shuffle dance. But I'm embodying him when I talk about breaking things down. Why? Because you may find that this year, going into next year, previous years, you have found yourself to be very overwhelmed when it comes to accomplishing things you want to do in your business. Anybody ever feel like that? Feel overwhelmed? Hey, Tara, Akita, welcome, welcome. Mommy Slays is in the building. Thanks for tagging your business besties and sharing this out. I appreciate y'all for that. Anybody ever feel like you are overwhelmed when it comes to all the things that you want to do? Sometimes I talk to y'all and you'll be like, listen, okay, so I want to create a couple of challenges. I want to create a new book. I want to launch a course. I want to set up this page. I want to do this thing. I have a conference in mind. You got all of these things that you want to do, and they're weighing you down and they're overwhelming you, because what you've got to do is actually start breaking things down. Fragmentation. Replace the overwhelm with action. Number one, divide your projects into phases or quarterly agendas. One of my favorite things to teach you, one of my favorite signature SistaSense sayings is to phase in your greatness. These bigger, larger than life projects that you have, break them down into phases or quarterly agendas. So, for example, one of the things I wanted to do this year was to get back into blogging. And so I took one quarter, 100 days. I did 100 articles in 100 days, phased it in. That was a project that I intentionally worked on, right? Checking in with you and doing more live streams is something that I wanted to do. And so I don't know if you realize this, but over the last few weeks, I've broken down my live streams into small micro projects. I just completed the 5-day a book a day challenge. Before that, I did for 5 days the money magnet challenge. And then before that, I did 7 days get back on track challenge. So every week, I've been doing these 5 or 7 day micro live stream challenges, right? And now I have 3 new 5 and 7 day challenges to add to my arsenal of digital opportunities and experiences for my audience. Phase in your greatness, right? Rome, Oprah, and Beyonce, none of them folks, none of them things was built in a day, okay? You got to phase it in. I always like to remind that I have a monthly mastermind, and just doing intentionally one topic a month, 2 sessions a month. At the end of the year, I have 24 new webinars, 12 new micro master classes that I can share either as a digital library, because I do have something called the Mastermind on Demand, or as individual bundled offers. Bundled offers, individual offers, a digital library, just with the consistency of breaking up bigger projects into micro projects that I do in phases or as part of quarterly agendas. Who needs to do that? I want you to brain dump it, all the stuff that you want to do. Because trust me, this is what we do when we do one-on-one sessions, right? You're like, okay, LaShonda, I want to just like brain it, dump, release it, right? But then once you do, what you got to do is break it on down. Embrace your inner Martin. Break it on down, right? Into things that become a little bit more feasible for you. Okay. Wait, Jerome. I thought y'all were tagging somebody. Were you telling me it was Jerome? Because I think it was. Was it Romy Rome in the house? Romy, I think that was the song. I think that's what y'all were telling me, that it was Jerome. I think that's what it was. Romy Rome in the house. Okay, see, I remember. Well, y'all remember. Y'all reminded me. Let's embrace our inner Jerome, right? And break it all down. I need to find that. I'm sure I can find a meme or a YouTube video with that. Y'all, welcome, welcome. If you're just coming on here, we're doing the annual planning masterclass where I share 4 of 11 things you can intentionally do to work on your annual planning goals. Y'all crack it up, because listen, it's early in the morning, so we're gonna have some fun with this thing, right? Number 1, if you would like to download the guide that you see on my screen right now on Facebook and on YouTube, if you're watching me there, I also share this as a PDF. You can download it right now for free. All you got to do is go over to sistasense.com/APMC. Somebody could drop that into the comment box for me. I love you for free. APMC stands for Annual Planning Masterclass. That's this right now. I'm walking you through the masterclass, and you can download the guide that I have on my screen for free at sistasense.com/annual planning masterclass. Again, I'm sharing with you 4 of the 11 things I think you need to do to intentionally prepare for your annual plan, your business growth going into the new year. The full annual planning workshop, the details for that are on the annual planning masterclass page. There's a link in there. Either you can just get those replays right now because they're ready. We did that class yesterday. The webinar for the full annual planning experience, all 11 strategies. I did that yesterday. So you can get the replays just for that, or sign up for the Wealth Builders Bundle, which is happening right now. Okay. This weekend, I'm going to spend the next 2 days leading with my Wealth Builders Bundle participants. 2 awesome sessions, 2 days on 7 ways to create 7-day challenges. So kind of like when I jump on here and share live stream 5 or 7-day micro challenges with you guys, live streams is one of 7 ways you can rock out and create amazing challenge experiences for your audience, whether you do them for free or you sell them as LPP, low price point offers. So I digress, but that's coming up today as part of the Wealth Builders Bootcamp. Okay. And side note, today's the last day to sign up for the bootcamp. Okay. So let's keep talking about this concept of fragmentation, right? Let me know, do you have either projects right now that you want to do that are overwhelming you or would like to do in the future that you need to phase them in, right? You need to break these big projects into smaller action tasks. And you also need to set aside time blocks to do each task. So, for example, me saying, okay, I'm going to, for 5 days, do a challenge. I'm going to go live every day at noon and 7 p.m. EST. That means I'm blocking out that time to make that task happen. And then by the end, I am finished. One of the things that I have really been pushing this year was, and write this down, you as an entrepreneur, you need to start to finish more. I know I'm gonna step on toes and hurt feelings right now, but let's keep it real. Some of y'all entrepreneurs, you great at starting, but you suck at finishing. You get all up in your feelings and that fire fizzles, right? You want to keep them fires burning. You have to start to finish more. One way you can do that is to start with fragmentation. Start breaking down more of these bigger projects into smaller phases, quarterly agendas, tasks that you can finish and complete. And once you've done that, eventually you'll see you have so much more. True. I know I'm stepping on some toes and hurting some feelings because it's real. So, for example, one of my clients that was in the annual planning workshop yesterday, she said, well, just being able to do quite a few live trainings with her audience this year. Okay. She sells physical products, right? I'm shouting her out, Lavon. Don't know if you're here. Lavon, creator of livevibrantly.com. She sells physical self-care products. And she said, okay, LaShonda, I want to do more digital, right? So we talk every week, not every week, but every month. She's one of my private clients. And this year, doing more digital meant having challenges, having virtual Zoom sessions with her clients. After doing quite a few of those this year, she now has enough content to create her own instant access courses. Why? Because she broke them down into different products, different projects. And now the replays are available to put into her own course bundles, right? And even we're also talking about subscription programs, but that's something else. I highly recommend having at least one subscription program or integrating subscription pricing into your business. But again, that's another conversation for another day, okay? In order for you to get to a point where you build up your digital empire and you always have either new or old offers that you can repurpose, you got to break these projects down. Fragmentation, okay? Right, good. Okay, so next one here, number 7 is collaboration. Collaboration. Now, to reset the room, I'm going to go right back up and let me know if any of these are resonating with you. When it comes to your annual plan, I'm sharing 4 of the 11 strategies. The first one I shared was reflection. Who needs to reflect on what worked versus what didn't work this year before they prepare for the next year, right? So they know what to carry over versus what to get rid of. Put reflection into the chat for me if that's something you need to work on, number 1. Number 3, right, was visualization. Who needs to visualize where they want to be next year so they can intentionally work towards the vision. What is that vision? Are you clear about who you want to be a year from now? Her or him, guy or gal, right? Drop visualization into the chat box for me if that is something you need to intentionally work on. Again, whether you're catching me live or via the replay, okay? Reflection, visualization. Number 5, fragmentation. Who is overwhelmed because you have so many awesome projects you want to do? You don't know where to start. You don't know what to do because it's just so overwhelming for you. Who needs to work on fragmentation? Drop that into the comment box. If you need to break down some of these bigger projects into smaller action items that you can actually complete. Okay. Number 5, fragmentation. The last one that I'll share today. Number 7, collaboration. Who needs to intentionally work on collaboration? At some point when I was in elementary school, we read a poem called No Man is an Island, right? And I've been saying that for years. No man, no woman is an island, right? So at some point, you're going to have to start collaborating with folks and getting help. Who needs to get some help? Who needs to ASK, get their ask in gear? ASK, not that other one. Get their ask in gear and start intentionally asking people for the kind of help you need. Do you even know what kind of help you need? Come on now. Number 7, collaboration. Think about this. Who do you want to collaborate with? Coaches, mentors, teachers, influencers, experts, partners, clients, having a support team. That's just a short list. Who do you want to collaborate with? You got to think about that, right? So interestingly enough, one of the participants last night talked about wanting to reach out to more organizations and individuals to create collaborations to promote her offers, to promote her products. And I said, I'm sure, number 1, if that's something that you wanted to do, that you want to do next year, more than likely it's something you thought about this year, right? Yes. Okay. So first, remember I talked about reflection. What happened this year that made it difficult for you to do those collaborations or initiate those conversations this year? Because you got to break some cycles, number 1. Number 2, I'm sure that if you want to do that next year, you probably already have a couple of people in mind, right? Yes. Okay. Then start making a list. Make a list of names of people you already know you want to go to and collaborate with in some way. Okay. Yes. All right. Good idea. Number 3, get specific. Don't just be like, oh, I'm fangirl and I'm fan guy and geeking over you. If you're going to come to me, come correct. How do you want to collaborate? How do you want to work with that person? What kind of organization or person, when you think about those names and you get specific, what kind of experience or project do you want to work on together? Don't just say, hey, I'd love to work with you. Come on now. How many times you hear that or say that and nothing happens because you don't get intentional and you don't get specific about who you want to talk to and why? Why exactly you want to make the connection, right? Make your list, start adding names, and guess what? Start reaching out to some people right now. I call that the knockout list. Take an hour or less than an hour and start reaching out to some people. Who says you got to wait till next year? Start here. Get specific. Name some names. Put some plans in motion. Reflect on why it didn't work last year. And then what did I just share when it came to fragmentation? Time blocks. I said, are you integrating or did you struggle when it comes to integrating time in your routines, time blocks where you know you're intentionally on a weekly or monthly basis creating, initiating conversations with people you want to work with? She was like, oh my gosh, I did not set aside the time to do that. If it's not on the calendar, baby, it's not happening. We talked about crazy good calendars yesterday as well. Who do you want to collaborate with? You got to start with help, and you can start right now, right? So again, if you're watching me on Instagram, I do on Facebook and YouTube actually have this annual planning guide on the screen. Facebook and YouTube, you can find me there, LaShonda Henry at SistaSense. But you can also just download this guide absolutely free from yours truly over at sistasense.com/APMC, which stands for Annual Planning Masterclass. That's what we're doing right now. And in this annual planning masterclass, I'm giving you 4 of the 11 steps to working on your annual plan, SistaSense style, right? The full 11 I did last night in our Wealth Builders Bootcamp. That webinar is also available too, if that's something you would like access to. And of course, I'm here to help. If you need me, you can always email sistasense@gmail.com, or when you're on the sistasense.com website, literally you can click the gray tab on the right to send me a voice message. So you can talk to me absolutely free. Yes, you can schedule a call with me, but you can also send me a voice message or email me. Okay. Always an opportunity to check in and engage if you need some support. And of course, I love to check in with y'all live. So don't forget to turn on alerts and notifications so you can see when I jump on here live, so you can jump on here live with me. Like I said, if you want to intentionally work on your annual plan this weekend, I definitely suggest getting the full workshop. The instant access replays are literally online right now. But I'm also doing the 2-day 7 ways to create a 7-day challenge. We're going to rock out starting 10 a.m. EST today and tomorrow. You can catch me live or you can get the replays as part of the Wealth Builders Bootcamp. But today is the last day to register for the Wealth Builders Bootcamp, okay? At sistasense.com/WBB, which stands for Wealth Builders Bootcamp. So, who needs to work on collaboration, right? Who needs to work on collaboration? So, outside of reflection, which was number 1, let's scroll back. Outside of reflection, visualization, fragmentation, and collaboration, there are, if my math is not horribly wrong, 7 more of these recommendations that I want to share with you inside of the complete annual planning workshop, number 1. But before you get there, identify the ones here that resonated with you today, okay? Of the 4, maybe you say all of the above, right? But if you could find at least one that really resonated with you that you can start to work on, number 1, and then of course access the full annual planning workshop, number 2. When it comes to intentionally preparing for your new year, this crush your goals conversation is something that I do every year as part of my finish strong, start stronger, right? You want to finish this year strong, start the next one even stronger. When we kick off the new year, I have the Fire Start Your Year experience, and it's an experience. We do 3 days here in North Carolina, 3-day weekend workshop, always MLK weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before MLK Day, right? I have a private, intimate weekend workshop here, number 1. And then number 2, a virtual 2-day weekend workshop the week before. So you can participate either in the webinar workshop, that's 2-day, or the 3-day in person here in North Carolina. Okay. So if you want to continue to work on your annual plan outside of the workshop that I had led yesterday, I also have the Fire Start Your Year workshops coming up. And you can register for that, which includes a 12-month program. Because I don't just want you to stop here. I need you to maintain your momentum. So Fire Start Your Year is about, number 1, us coming up with your master plan for 3 days, working on that together, but then us coming together on a quarterly basis and you working with me privately one-on-one. So we have quarterly workshops as a group. Fire Start Your Year Spring into Action quarter 2, Content to Cash Flow quarter 3, quarter 4, Print Your Profits every year. Fire Start Your Year quarter 1, Spring into Action quarter 2, Content to Cash Flow quarter 3, Print Your Profits quarter 4. Okay. So it's a 12-month program along with the kickoff Fire Start Your Year conversation. So when it comes to collaborations and extra help, these are some of the resources I've created for you, as well as my new normal life design guide. I don't know if you missed it, but yesterday I did a live stream, 11/11 New Beginnings and New Normals. I took you inside of the new normal guide and gave you some questions to ask yourself to reflect on if you are ready to enter your new season and create new normals in your life and in your business. So hopefully you had an opportunity to watch that as well. If you didn't, watch the replay. But this is essentially what I'm trying to do today. And of course, over the next few days, really get you into a space where you're thinking about creating your new normals, creating new beginnings, moving into the new year, new seasons, because it's all about intentionally preparing for your next best steps, okay, with strategy and intention. So that's it. That's what's inside of your annual planning masterclass guide. Hopefully today was a good start to kick off the conversation as far as things that you can do. Don't forget, make sure you go over to SistaSense.com/APMC so you can download the guide that I have on the screen right now, okay? And you can watch today's replay in entirety, go back like 1,000 times if you really need to dig into this a little bit more. I am going to get ready now for our Wealth Builders Bootcamp 2-day workshop training. If you'd like to join me there, feel free. Today's the last day to register for the Wealth Builders Bootcamp, and certainly a great day to work on your annual planning efforts. Anything else, drop into the chat, email sistasense@gmail.com, or when you're on the sistasense.com website, click the gray tab on the right to send me a voice message. Mwah! That's it for now. Till next time, y'all. Take care.